monthly award program with 99 Lightning. Austin Riley literally just dropped in MLB 22. So even though it is Wednesday, yet again, we're going to do a tier list Tuesday on Wednesday. Go through our monthly award cards, tier list them together, give my initial thoughts on the cards, and then we're going to lump them in with all of our overall tier lists. I made some tunes and changes after testing a bunch of cards from last week. So we got to update all the tier lists. So without further ado, it is apparently Tuesday on a Wednesday, and we gotta update the tier list. Let's get into it. So first, I wanna go through the monthly awards. I'm gonna go through the player's attributes, the rarity of the card, so you know how the program works, before we get into this tier list. This is our monthly award program, as you see here. We obviously have our top snail cards and all of that. The top snail cards really won't make many teams. However, in this program, we have a Starling Marte. You collect all the top snail cards, which you should be doing as you're completing the moments. You get 95 Marte, who could be a pretty viable outfielder. It's just that he's lacking in the power. So unfortunately, you know, while he's going to have the solid speed and fielding for center, I don't know if the bat's going to be enough to really warrant starting him unless you're a really big Mets homer. But the card's good. It's a nice little outfield option. Top snail cards like this have been pretty fun this year. But now we got to talk about the rest of the monthly award program once the server finally loads. Once you get all your top snail cards, you get into the monthly awards. And you know how monthly award grind is at this point. You get the cards, you get PXP, you gradually work your way through the program. I'd watch another one of my monthly award program videos if you want a more detailed way to get the cards. But basically, you grind the program, you have your base round, your 95 overall players. All pretty solid, I would say. The best one, I would say, Andres Munoz here. 95 overall. He's got outlier on the four-seam fastball, primary slider. I mean, he's like that Edwin Diaz card, but he doesn't get the benefit of outlier. So it should be a nice reliever to try in your pen, especially if you like the high velocity. But keep in mind, 2 fastballs isn't going to be incredible, so he might not be lights out. Next, 95 overall, we have Cole Irvin. I mean, not a bad starter, like a Martin Perez type. Low on the Ks per 9, though, which is going to be a little problematic. Not much velocity, a control type pitcher. I don't think he's going to be too great, but I guess you never know. He could be respectable for a starter if you need it. Brady Singer, another 95 overall starter. I mean, he's going to be a little bit like an Alek Manoah type pitcher with the sinker, slider, circle change. 4-pitch pitchers are a little bit tough, but you know, Singer might be pretty respectable, but he's not going to be incredible, just being completely honest. Both starters we got in the base round, kind of mid, but you know, they deserve cards, but cards on their own are not great. JT Realmuto is definitely a viable catcher, mainly for the speed and the defense. I will say the hitting attributes way too low on this card. They boosted this clutch way too much. Made the card a higher overall it probably should be. 94, 93 contact with no extra offensive quirks to help. Kind of a dud of a card, man. Like, I don't see people really wanting to use this card, even though it's JT Realmuto. So, kind of a miss in my opinion. Ramon Urias? Reverse splits versus righties aren't bad, but not enough offense to the table to warrant using, especially versus lefties, very weak. Another kind of miss of a monthly award card, but you know, could at least be viable if you're looking for a beginner corner middle infield option. It's like there's so many third basemen, we got multiple better third basemen in the program. Speaking of better third basemen, later in the program, I can't show you the program because the servers are poo-poo. Get 97 overall guys like Matt Chapman, who's got the reverse splits versus righties and a good defense. Again, this seems like a good starter third baseman, but again, the contact and power versus left is a little bit too low. He doesn't have enough offensive quirks to help him, and 53 vision, he's going to swing and miss a ton. Again, got boosted by 118 clutch. Ryan Presley shouldn't be the worst reliever ever. Like, at least he's got high hits per 9, but 3-pitch relievers are tough. But at least, you know, slider slurve isn't the worst. He's more so of like a necessity bullpen guy. Like, I don't picture people really wanting to use him. You want to use him if you need more relievers. I don't think he's going to be a top tier guy. And Matt Carpenter, I think, is the second best card in the entire program. Just like at the very least, a great bench bet. The hitting attributes are top tier. However, you could start him at second base. The fielding will be bad, fine, but the bat's going to be elite. Second base does not have someone with this level of contact and power in terms of any sort of versatility. I like the home run derby Seager. This is a direct upgrade from that, basically. I am stoked for Carpenter. He is a viable second baseman or a corner infielder if you're looking for a first baseman or third baseman still.
Hi, I'm Scann's editor, Jay Mills. He forgot to mention a few things recording this video. Things were kind of crazy. The content was delayed by 2 hours. Servers went down. It was bad. Anyways, I'll be cutting in here and there real quick just to kind of catch you up on what he was thinking but forgot to mention. So Scann forgot to mention Craig Biggio going through all these cards' attributes individually. So real quick, obviously amazing card. He'll play on any difficulty. You should really use him on your team either as second or catcher. Now, back to Scann.
And then last but certainly not least, the man of the hour, 99 Austin Riley. The power could have been a little better, but the quirks will help him play above that. This card should rake. Loved his finest card last year, and I heard it was similar to his finest card last year. Should be a nice first baseman, third baseman, and outfielder if you're looking for that left fielder with a little bit more speed, where his defense is a little bit more viable. So now I want to go through and quickly tier list the monthly award program cards, in case it was not made abundantly clear here. Riley and Carpenter are definitely the best 2 cards of the program I think I will see in lineups the most.
I'm back. Scann forgot to mention Biggio here. He's obviously S tier. See you guys soon.
Andres Munoz is definitely a viable reliever I could see being used. However, I don't think he's going to be too incredible because the pitch mix isn't the best. Jose Miranda, I'm going to put in that A tier as well. Like positionally versatile, solid hitter. Definitely one of the better of the base round dudes for sure. And I'll put Matt Carpenter in that A tier too because he is a solid bat and good defender. But none of these 3 will likely start on a majority of teams. Presley, mid-tier reliever, put him there. And I'll put him in the same class as Realmuto, just kind of not great for the overalls they had. They're kind of boosted in the wrong avenues. And Presley just doesn't have enough pitches. JT doesn't have enough hitting. Ramon, I'm putting in a D tier. I'm sorry, that card is not good for anything. And Cole Irvin and Brady Singer will put in the C tier as at least like maybe viable starters. And this is what I think your monthly award cards. If you're going to use any cards, use Riley and Carpenter. Especially Carpenter because he's positionally versatile, and same with Riley. But now let's go position by position now that we went after our monthly award cards and go over some other new content we got today and see all of our new players. So this is the catcher tier list now with Diego Cartaya added and JT Realmuto in the mix. No other new catchers really today. I think catcher, the best of the best are going to be Napoli and Cartaya. Good right-handed catcher bats with good well-rounded contact and power. Napoli's got better contact, slightly less power versus left. Diego's got slightly less vision. So good options if you're looking for good catchers. I'd recommend one of those 2 right now.
Scann, you're killing me. Guys, this one should be pretty obvious though. Biggio's obviously S tier.
By the way, tops now lies Diaz, could be an okay catcher, but right at Trevino level down there in the D tier. Here is our first base tier list. Now, as you see, like last week's tier list, I'm a little bit more critical at this point in the game. A lot of well-rounded options in the B tier you could definitely use, especially with high parallel. But in our A and S tier, I really think Frank Ortiz are going to be the still 2 guys at first. However, you have George Brett. Riley is great to slide over at first, especially because he's well-rounded versus both sides. He's going to be a monster as a first baseman. I'm actually thinking I'm going to use him there and hit the bench with Poppy. However, Carpenter is a great first base option now, and the new headliner, Justin Morneau, is also a great option. Here is that Morneau, by the way. I mean, great contact, pretty solid power. He's a lot like a Todd Helton type first baseman like we had in years past. Speed a little bit on the lower end, but if you like the well-rounded contact, slightly less power first base types, Morneau is going to be a great option. However, he's going to be slightly less used because Poppy and Frank and now Austin Riley are going to be really, really good first base options. Here is the updated second base tier list. Lo and behold, you see Matt Carpenter. I think Jackie Robinson is still the guy. The combination of contact, speed, defense, and good enough power. Definitely the guy at second baseman. But not everyone loved Jackie, so Carpenter's a great one to slide there. Noelvi Marte is great. I also forgot to mention Dansby Swanson. Craig Biggio is basically Jackie Jr. over there at second. A lot of great options at second base at this current point in the game, including Carpenter. They all have their pros and cons. Like Carpenter has the hitting, but sacrifices speed and defense, while these other ones are more well-rounded players. So now with our primary shortstops, I have been using Dansby. I've been having a lot of fun with him. I think he's the dude. Noelvi Marte is definitely great as well with the power that he has. At shortstop, you could slide the new Jose Miranda there. He's definitely a S tier, but back end of S tier second baseman. I mean, shortstop. Ramon will definitely a class below. You'll see a common theme in all their positions. Miranda in the back end of S, Ramon in the high end of A. Now we have third base. Obviously, we got a lot of third basemen in today's content drop. On the bottom part of the list here, you don't really see that much different from last video. However, in the A tier again, you see Minnie Minoso there. Minnie Minoso not bad in the outfield, but just power heavy position at third base, lacks power. So I have him in the A tier. I have some of our new future star guys in the S tier, but the big ones being Austin Riley. Riley or Brett should probably be your third baseman at this point in the game. Also, Matt Carpenter can play there as well. Our outfield got a little bit more chaotic, including secondaries. Riley's definitely a better outfield option because he brings viable speed in terms of a corner outfielder. 69 speed is enough where he's going to have range in left field where you can get away with that defense out there. So it's a great spot to slide him. I did move Bellinger up to the S tier after using him. I think the contact is definitely viable, but there are a lot of corner outfield options at this point in the game. A lot of outfielders have their pros and cons. However, expect next week with the new 99 Griffey program inbound. Griffey's going to be in his S plus tier. He's going to be battling for center field power with McCutchen. So I'm excited for that content drop to happen.
Scann would put Topps Now Starling Marte in the A tier and the Duke Snider from the Shark map in B tier.
Our starting pitchers, not much really changed in today's content drop because the monthly award cards, Brady Singer and Irvin, probably no more than like A tier guys. They don't bring enough pitching to the table to warrant using in a rotation. However, you could probably try them and be all right. I did adjust our all-star game starters. I did bump down Castillo, Blackburn, Perez. After using some of these guys, I really did not think they are S tier. However, they could be viable if you really like them. I think Castillo's the most viable of these bunch. Him and Ohtani. But our S tier, I made a little bit slimmer this time around. I think Corbin Burns and Sandy are, solid S tier guys. But the big three starters are definitely Randy, Nolan, and Leiter. Those would be the big three everyone wants in a rotation still at this point in the game. I would strive to get them if you have not gotten them yet. The new Espino, very solid starter. He's got the Grom type pitches, but lacks control. He's in the back end of S, right next to Bob Feller, the guys who have the velocity, but not the control. And then finally, our relievers with our new content. We finally got some updates in net. As you see, I did also tinker with some of the relievers. New Houston Street, for example, is okay. And I also am going to put Ryan Presley probably in the top of B tier. I don't think this card brings enough pitching wise. I don't think it's gonna be easy to pitch with him. I'm gonna put Andres Munoz right next to Yohan Duran in terms of having the velocity. And I'm gonna put Edwin Diaz in that class too. These three have velocity, good sliders and all that. Yohan Duran honestly might be more viable than the two because it's really slow cutter. It's just gonna be tough to pitch with Munoz and Edwin because they have two fastballs and a slider. So if you like them, you can use them. But I just don't think they're gonna be the best of the best bunch like these guys in the S tier. And I'm honestly hesitant having Emmanuel Clase here. So yeah, that is all of the tier list change with all of our new content. I'm going to try to get Austin Riley today or tomorrow, debut him on the video on the next video tomorrow. Make sure you are subbed to the channel to see the Riley debut with the other monthly award cards. Let me know how you think about these monthly award cards. I don't know how I feel other than Riley and Carpenter, all kind of That's going to happen with monthly awards. Not every card is going to be a startable card. It's just the nature of the content. Make sure you like this video if you enjoyed this tier list Tuesday on a Wednesday. I'll see you all again on another video tomorrow. Deuces.